Hey guys, welcome to another episode. My name is Chris, and today I'm interviewing James Day, an Australian wedding photographer, whom I met in Raglan at a photography workshop in 2019 called Down to Photo. In today's episode, we discuss family life, delve into James's specific pricing structure and process for inquiries. We also explore his lighting methods, including the kind of off-camera lights he uses. Some really interesting stuff there, as well as some other gear nerdery. If you're not familiar with James, click the Instagram link in the description and just see how epic his work is, and you'll understand why I wanted to get him on the podcast. In addition, we discuss strategies for managing like ADHD while running a business, utilizing studio management software. Honestly, there's just so much gold in this episode. So next week, I have 2 more interviews with a couple of my favorite photographers who use film for weddings, as well as street photography and fashion work. If you're interested in seeing these interviews, subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channels and help us get this project off the ground. For now, let's get into this episode with James Day.
I'm in our spare room, basically.
Oh yeah, sweet.
Dodgy.
How you been, bro?
I've had 3 weddings this weekend, so
Shit.
I'm like as in
Like Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I did Thursday, Friday, Sunday, so I had Saturday off in between.
Right, okay.
So yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, how have you been?
I'm alright, I'm alright. I mean, end of wedding season now, so like I don't really have a lot going on. I don't have any more weddings for like 2 months. So I'm just like editing feeling? Them. Yeah. Well, I don't know, because I only do weddings, obviously.
Yeah,
I don't do like commercial or anything. Yeah. You're doing only weddings, eh?
Yeah. Like I'll say yes to the very occasional something different. So yeah. But it's 99.8 probably % of what I do. But it's Yeah. So basically with weddings are slow, I'm like, cool, so where's my value in life? Where's my place? What's the point of even being alive? No, yeah. Not quite, but yeah.
And family's good?
Yeah. Little Jake's nearly, he'll be 5 in September. And then we got Max, who will be 2 in August. So, yeah.
Yeah, my daughter's like 17 and I still think
What?
that.
You have a 17-year-old daughter?
Yeah, bro, it's
You're
crazy.
Not old enough.
I have 3 teenagers. It's messed up.
How old are you? 100?
I'm 40 this year. Yeah, how old are you? You're in your 30s still, eh?
38. So you had kids young.
Yeah, real young.
Wow.
Yeah. But I found the funny one. So when I was doing some research, because I only know you, I don't really follow other wedding photographers.
Yeah.
At all. And
Good
I know
idea.
you because I met you at Down to Photo. And I just thought you were fucking rad and like a normal dude, and like heaps of photography. That was the only workshop I've ever been to. I've never been to another one before that.
Yeah,
or
I remember you
after.
saying.
Yeah, and I really went because it sounded like it would just be a sick time.
But it was. Dude, I'm normally like kind of, introverted in some ways, and like
everybody was, but not that night.
But I don't usually even drink. And then here I am basically dressed as a drag queen and who knows what that night.
Yeah. No, that was a sweet party. But I actually did pick up a couple of things from you about like how you interact with couples and how you get to know them on the day and all that kind of shit. And that is, I mean, you probably don't know my business, but I'm all about that now. And yeah, I don't know. I think, that whole kind of vibe that you do is it's all like the way you run your business is all about that, right? Like getting to know your clients more.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it makes our jobs easier. Like, talking about people being lazy, I think actually putting in some effort to get to know the people ends up making your job easier later. So
yeah, and I think it has a good outcome on the actual end result. Like the photos are better,
Yeah.
if they're more comfortable with you.
Oh, totally. Yeah, you've got to do. People like to be seen. Does that make sense? Do you know what I mean? And if you can actually just take a moment to just be like, cool, let me actually see you, rather than just turning up on the wedding day and just projecting who you think they should be. Yeah. A bride and a groom, or a groom and a groom, or a bride and a bride. Like, just, like,
and letting people be who they are, right?
Yeah, and finding out who they are and bringing that out too, right? Like, if you've got an understanding of who they are on the other dates, then for me, I'm not I'm not that keen on this concept of like people pretending to be, this bride or groom or whatever. Like I'd prefer for the photos to tell a story of who they are on every other day than who they were on one day.
Yeah.
So sometimes you gotta give permission.
That's a really good way to put it. Yeah. Yeah, I like that because I feel like a lot of photographers try and make the couples look like they think they should be according to like their brand or whatever. And I just think it's the wrong way to go, but I mean, what do I know? But
and obviously for different couples, it's easier to do that than for some other couples. Like some couples, you definitely feel like they just want you to tell them what to do on the day.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas some couples, they're obviously more open to just being their natural selves. And so, like, I guess why I say that, and even just having this idea in my mind that you've got an idea of who I was a few years ago. I reckon my business is probably completely different. I think I'm probably a different person. Yeah. And that's like, and people have this idea of who you are from, one wedding. You might be completely different for the next wedding because you kind of need to be based off what the couple needs. So I find that idea really strange where like even listening to the podcast where you're talking about me, I was like, oh yeah, James does this. And I'm like, it's like, I kind of did once. Yeah. But yeah.
Is that when we were talking about how you were like meeting people without them even knowing your price?
Yeah. So that's completely changed.
Yeah, right.
So
did you change it because you found it too hard, or why did you change that?
No, you could simplify it to that. But I think if you want to launch into a bigger conversation around it.
Yeah, definitely.
Look, I think firstly, just sort of saying, look, you should do this or should do that. It doesn't quite work like that in the real world. Because obviously you guys mentioned, that people have their own strengths and, people have different businesses. So, you sort of want to work out what works for you. So, with this whole idea of at what point do you raise prices, right? Like when I say raise prices, as in like talk pricing with your couple. Is it on your website? Is it in an email? Is it in person? Firstly, I think people want to decide how they can best communicate the value. And if you feel like you can best communicate your value on your website, you'd be crazy to hold off.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Put your best foot forward and go.
Yeah.
If you feel like you are wonderful at engaging in meaningful emails, then you'd be crazy not to have it there. And if you think that you're actually best communicating value when you're chatting to someone and you can show an interest in them, and then have both parties in front of you, because that was one of the things for me. I felt like there was, I think I sent this to you in a message the other day, but I felt like there was 3 different kinds of people who I'd been meeting with. There was the ones who I might have photographed their best friend's wedding 10 years ago. For the last 10 years, they just decided, when I get married one day, I think I'll have James photograph it. Then there's the couples who might have come to you recommended from a venue maybe, and they're like, there's like a little bit of trust there because it's like the venue's recommended you, but it might have just been, once again, like one party is like familiar with you maybe. But that's what, I guess what I'm trying to say is, sometimes if it's just one party who's familiar with you, if you've just got pricing on your website and they're comparing you with a few different people, then potentially the other party who's not familiar with you is just going to be like, why would we spend that extra money? And if you can't communicate that effectively through your website and you've got no chance to answer questions, essentially just communicate value, then they're not going to hire you. And then you've obviously got the kind of client who is just, as I said, they're just going to hire you anyway because you did an awesome job with their friend's wedding and the partner doesn't have a say in it. Yeah. And then you might have another kind of client who is just window shopping. Look, you're probably not going to hire, like, if your price is not the thing that you're competing on, then you're probably not going to book that third kind of party anyway.
The price shoppers. So
my job is to go, all right, if I'm looking for more bookings, if I'm at a point where I'm like, cool, I need a few more bookings, then I know I'm always going to get that first category where they're both involved, they're both keen, they're just going to book you anyway. That second category though, where the second person needs to be, I guess, brought over the line, then that's best done in person when the 3 of us are chatting. And that's sometimes the difference and can mean that I just book a few more weddings. I might have to do a bit more admin, like you discussed the other day. But where I'm at the moment, I'm not actually trying to book a lot of weddings. So I'm like, look, I'm happy to lose a few. And I do want less admin.
Yeah.
So I see putting price out there like a tap. Like if you're just wanting to, fill that bucket super quick, then put it all out there. Well, maybe don't put price out there, right? So people are like, we're going to just get in touch and find out. And then everyone gets in touch.
Yeah.
Within reason. You'll annoy a few people who are just looking for price. But yeah, if you just put your price out there, then you're probably going to get a few less inquiries, but you will also miss some that probably would have booked you if you met them and they went, oh, I can see the difference.
Yeah. So do you have your price on your website now?
No, I have my price in email, so I'm going like halfway in between.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
Will I add it to my email? Probably. I'm trying to decide what I want next year to look a bit more like. Like I think I'm wanting to scale it back considerably for next year.
Yeah.
And so I think that it probably will go on the website in the next month or two. But we'll see.
Is there a reason, how many weddings are you doing like per season roughly now?
This is such a funny question because it's like, once upon a time, I just would have said 35.
Yeah.
And that's what typically was happening. I'd end up booking a few more than that last minute ones kind of thing. And then COVID completely smushed everything from nothing to everything.
Yeah.
And then
in like 2 months.
And then this year I'm back to that sort of 35. I'm probably going to end up at 40 for the year this year. Right.
From like June to June kind of thing. That's what I call the season.
I'm the only one who does this, but I just go January to December for whatever reason. Okay. But there's 37 or so probably at this point for this year. And then the next year I think I've only got like 12 or something booked. And I'm like, 12, right? Yeah. Do I want? So that's from January to December next year. So I'm like, do I want more than that? Like as in, do I want more than maybe 20 next year? I'm maybe leaning towards no. Yeah. So I may as well just keep the admin really simple.
Yeah. And is that, do you want to do less just because do you have something else on the go or?
I want to have something else on the go.
Oh, I do? Can you talk about it?
I can, but I wouldn't know what to tell you because
you don't know what it is yet. You just want something different. Yeah, right.
Well,
okay.
I want to, because obviously through COVID, realize like how risky it is just to have one sort of income stream.
Yeah, man. Yeah, YouTube saved my ass having that like side income.
Yeah.
Man, that kept me out of the negative.
Look, luckily, thanks to a good mate, Jonathan Ware, guy from Hobart, Tasmania. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah, I don't know. I know the area, but I don't know him.
Yeah. Luckily, many years ago, he told me about a way of like the way he split up his payments from clients.
Right.
And luckily, that saved our ass because we still have money coming in even when
like
there weren't jobs.
third thing.
Well, the way he does it is slightly differently, but what I do is like a $2,000 deposit, $2,000 6 months out from the wedding, and then the remainder the month before. So that means that clients who were still planning for their weddings to be, coming up, in 2021, say, if people were being optimistic, they were still paying those payments.
Yeah.
So
I think there's been some discussion about that in our group over here lately about people changing. Like a friend, Mike, he does like third. So pretty much, it's but because you'd be charging quite a bit more, I would imagine. We don't have to go into your prices, but I know you're proper expensive.
I don't know. I'm not actually sure if that's true. I feel like
really?
Because firstly, I don't know what other people charge, and that's I should probably know. I should probably ask some people.
I think it's kind of irrelevant at some point.
Yeah, but so I don't know if I'm expensive, and I'm happy to share what I currently charge, and it's just I start my pricing at $5,200 for 6 hours. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And then I add $500 per hour for every hour after. So that's that's where I'm currently at. But,
so you don't have okay, that's really interesting. So you don't have like packages, you just have like a starting and then they choose how many hours they want.
Yeah. We work it out the month before.
When $5,200 and then $500 per hour.
Yeah. That's what I'm currently doing. But
yeah, I mean that's definitely high end pricing, but it's not like out the gate.
I love the people who hire me at that price point. I think that's the thing.
Yeah. But the clients are always fucking just rad. Like, and it's like valued enough that they really want you to be there and they want you to just turn up and like do your shit. Like you don't get like photo lists or anything like that, right?
So interestingly, I have no problem with photo lists.
Don't you?
None.
What do you mean? When I say photo lists, what are you thinking though?
Ones that are customized by them, not just like a list from the internet. No, I work with all my couples to work out what's super important. And like, basically I have a questionnaire that I get lists of the things that are important and the people who are important. Because I think that...
But what about like creative shots though?
No. Yeah.
No,
so we'd be on the same page there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I ask for a photo list of like important people and family photos. And I don't care how many photos I've got to do family photos. I'm like, it's your wedding. If we're going to do 100 family photos, you do 100 family photos. Totally. It's totally up to you.
As long as they've allowed time for it, I'm happy. Yeah. So.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't need that long. I don't know about you, but I don't need that long for bridal party stuff. Like I usually just spend a short amount of time with the bridal party and then I take the couple off at sunset and I don't need that long, you know? And I'd rather make it more about the couple, which I think you are really about.
Once again, it depends on the couple. Like, say, for a wedding I shot on Friday, the bridal party was such a massive part of it. Like, they're a younger couple, their mates were like their life in a way.
Yeah. So
I definitely incorporated them more than some others, whereas some couples are like, you know what, bridal party, you're almost not going to have one.
Yeah.
You know? So I sort of just try and read that a little bit and work out how much time to allow for each thing. So sometimes I spend a while with the bridal party. It just depends on what the couple's sort of vibe is.
Yeah, I suppose that comes down to getting to know them and what they want.
You can sort of say, I do this or that. And then in the end, and I feel like the longer you do this, you realize that changes from week to week. Because either you have, you set yourself a challenge or, you want to work on something, right?
Yeah.
Or, you're inspired by something else or the couple is completely different. You're like, I'm not really that photographer today. Yeah. Someone else for that. So
it's funny, and your opinions, I used to have like really strong opinions. Like I need, you hear it a lot when people are like, I need my hour and a half for the bridal shoot, like almost like it's about you. And like, I don't know. And same with photos, like family photos. I used to be like, I hate family photos. It's such a pain in the ass. And now I'm like, I just make it real fun, Like, just fucking lean into it. And like, because I found I've had so much good feedback when, when mum comes up to you after the ceremony, she wants a photo with her friends. I'm like, yep, do it. Get all your mates, bring them in. We'll do all the family photos. They like fucking love it.
Yeah.
And like, it's about them. And if they're loving it, then who fucking cares how many family photos you got to do,
100%. I think one thing that I used to be really opinionated about was, big group photo. I used to tell people don't do it.
Yeah.
And then I used to basically tell people, it'll take forever. You sure you want it? Now I'm like, if people tell me, we're leaning towards no, I'm like, can I maybe give you a reason why it could be a good idea?
Yeah. Yeah.
And, I have like a little spiel, I guess, that I do these days for the group photo where I'm like, hey guys, this isn't about me, but please let me introduce myself. My name's James, and this is Bodhi, if Bodhi's photographing with me. We're taking photos then. I'm like, hey, what are our names? And I get them to say our names. And I'm like, why am I doing this? It's not because it's about us. It's because I want you guys to feel so comfortable to come up to us at any point when we don't look super busy with something else and say, hey, there's this cute guy, there's this cute girl, there's this, 5 generations of family all together in the one room finally. Please come up to us. So James and Bodhi, don't ask the other guy, he's the videographer. That'd be weird if you asked him for a photo. But please feel comfortable. And then throughout the day, people come up to like, hey, James. And I'm like, this is awesome. I just feel like I'm way more a part of it. And they feel so comfortable coming to chat to me. And while I think the group photo in a way is probably not that exciting, like the group photo probably isn't worth it for the time, the chance that I have to kind of share my personality.
Use it as an introduction. Yeah.
And sort of go, guys, I'm so welcoming of this. If that's what you want, please don't be shy. And I think as well, because I make a lot of these decisions based off like stress reduction as well. I don't want the stress of people coming back to me and be like, why didn't you take a photo of this? Why didn't you get photos of these people? I'm like, if I show that I'm so welcoming of any idea, of any request, Like you were talking before about if mum comes up to you for blah, blah, blah. I've made it a thing that if anyone comes up to me and starts like looking like they're going to ask me something, as soon as they open their mouth, I just go, yes, let's go. I'm following you. What do you need? Like, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I love that, man.
Yeah.
As soon as you started talking about that group photo, I started smiling because I'm like, I don't know if I got that from you or because I thought I just started doing it. I don't know if you talked about it on the workshop, but like every time we do the group photo, I don't go as far as you do, but I'm going to pick, this is like a free workshop for me as well. I'm loving it. But I always stand up and I introduce myself. I'm like, this is my second shooter. If you guys want a photo with your partner or your family or whatever, just come and ask us.
Yeah.
But I like how you added that little extra bit on there. That's really nice too. I think that stuff is like referral gold, man. Like that's why you get referrals when you make it about them and like their guests and like you show that you're not real uptight about it and you're just going to have a good day and you're there to document what they want,
And just think about it from the guest perspective. Like, I don't know. If I was going to a wedding as a guest with my family, I'd love a photo with my family.
Yeah, like a proper, good quality photo. How often you get that?
Yeah. So it's just like, if you can honor the people who are there, like these people aren't there by accident. The couple love them. There's probably a couple of people that they felt like they had to invite, but no, 99% of the people there, like they're there for a reason. So it's like, the people who are in the photos are going to love it, but then the couple's also going to be stoked.
Yeah.
That they've got then something to give to their friends to say, hey, thanks for coming along. Thanks for your gifts. Thanks for, celebrating with us. So, it also takes the pressure off me feeling like I need to walk around, table to table.
Making sure you've got everybody like ticking people off.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so glad we're doing this podcast. So before we move on, lately I've been doing this thing where I'm like looking at people that I want to get on the podcast because legit, really all I want to do is inspire people and like get people to do shit. I don't care about anything else, And when I'm doing research, I've lately been asking AI about people. And you came up.
It's so complimentary though. Like AI is just like, it's not going to say a bad word about anyone, I feel like.
I'm going to read what AI told me.
The confusing thing is that there is another James Day who's a photographer in London. So we'll see what that's.
Oh no, this is, okay. Are you ready, James Day? Yes, I am familiar with James Day, who is a well-known wedding photographer based in Australia. He has won numerous awards for his work and is known for his unique style that blends fine art and documentary photography. Day is particularly known for his use of natural light and his ability to capture authentic and emotional moments between couples on their wedding day. He is also known for his commitment to providing an exceptional client experience and for his passion for teaching and mentoring other photographers. That's your AI spiel.
Awesome. I reckon it got like half of it right.
Yeah. And a lot of it is like, when they're talking about, like using natural light, but then also, I don't know, you use a lot of... Yeah. So you should be proud that AI knows who you are, James.
It's scary. I don't think I've really entered many awards over the years either. Like
I've never entered an award. I'm probably too afraid to fail at it, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I entered years and years ago. I entered some stuff into the AIPP, like Australian Institute of Professional Photography type awards. And I spent way too much time for the return on the investment, I guess.
Yeah.
And I just went, if I'm doing this for my business,
no one gives a fuck.
Well, some people do.
Photographers care.
But if I put that same amount, like let's just say, I think I spent 30 hours on submitting these 4 photos, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, if I spent 30 hours doing almost anything else in my business, it would probably have a greater outcome.
Yeah, far more beneficial.
Yeah. Like if I spent 2 hours taking a wedding planner out to lunch,
it would be
worth 1,000 times more than that.
Oh, 100%.
So
that's really good insight. Yeah, I found, because I know some couples care about, you have it on your website like award-winning photographer or whatever, but mostly it's just for other photographers, I think, like awards.
Yeah, I think there is a part of like there is obviously a certain type of clientele who would really love the fact that they've got an award-winning photographer. Like, I remember there was something early on in my career that, like, you know, I was one of the top 1,000 new photographers in my street or something. Like, I don't even know. But it was something. And then it got mentioned in a bridesmaid's speech that, you know, this, of course, the bride got this photographer who was,
right.
And I was, it's not really that big a deal.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that it made you guys happy. But even then, like, it wouldn't have booked me the job.
No, definitely not. Yeah. Talking about that natural light thing, I think, like I said, I don't really follow wedding photographers, but you're one of the photographers I follow on Instagram.
As of like 3 days ago, but anyway.
It's true. I did search you though.
I did see the follow, and I was like, yeah, I've been following you for years, mate, and it's finally.
Yeah, it's an ego thing. I have to feel like I'm better, you know.
No. I wonder how many people I've offended over the years by like unfollowing, just because you go on these rampages where like, okay, I need to stop following wedding photographers.
Yeah,
and you end
that's
up
what I
like
do.
unfollowing friends and people, and you're like, all right, I'd better send them a message and just explain this isn't personal. Yeah. And then you forget, and then you're like, crap. And then I can think of a few names.
I do the same thing. I do like a big cull because I'm like, I don't want to be inspired by these people. I want to do my own shit.
Or, hey, if I'm being honest, there is sometimes people who I unfollow because I don't feel good about myself, because I'm like, I compare myself to you and I don't feel nice when I do that.
Yeah, definitely. I get that for sure.
Yeah, especially when you're feeling crap yourself. You're feeling like, I haven't booked a wedding in a month or two or a year or whatever it is. And you're like, or you know, the weddings you've been shooting haven't been your most ideal.
Yeah.
And you see all these people photographing on the moon. You're like...
Yeah, I definitely noticed that when I was looking through your Instagram the other day. I'm like, fuck, there's some good shit on here, man. Like, and
thanks, man.
I saw a couple of videos of you like using... I went through, when I was going through your Instagram, I was looking at some of your reels, I think.
Oh, yeah. So this is where you can start talking about lighting.
Yes.
Of course.
Because I notice a lot of them, you have like a pro photo trigger on your camera, even when you're not like using lights. Is that why?
So I'm ready.
Right. Okay. So would you say most of your shoots you take lights?
Every single one of my shoot, I would have a light. So every element of the day, I have a light within a meter of me.
Wow.
So
just in case you like see something cool that you're like, I could add some light to this and it would be sick.
Yeah. If we can epic it up in a way.
Yeah.
I want to have it accessible, and I don't want it to add time, because I think one of the things with working with lighting, it can make things a little bit more tedious. But if you can just make it just smooth, where it's just like, sweet, good light, ready to go, boom. And then I bring an assistant to most jobs, or to the weddings, not like to, you know, a couple shoot that's not a wedding or whatever, where there's no time constraints and you can just play, and it doesn't really matter if you only get 4 good photos anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I take someone along who I can just so quickly say, hey, can you light this at 45 degrees for me with a gel and a grid? Thank you. Cheers, done.
Right. Yeah.
And then I can control it completely from my camera, apart from the angle that they're standing at. And I can get, you know, just gorgeous moments of people walking along or whatever they're doing with movement, but in some like crazy cool light, which then might give me just a completely different look in 3 seconds, which like sometimes I'll get to the end of like the couple shoot and I'll go, do I need to do a night shoot with these guys? Because I've kind of got some like crazy lit stuff already in the afternoon. So then I just don't even bother taking them back out, because it's like, I've got it in less time earlier.
Yeah. And because you can make a really mundane photo look fucking insane with some lights, like if it's done well.
And also you can just correct for just like little shadows under the eyes, just having like, which I think clients do notice. That's the stuff they do care about. If it's just like this, you know, they've got crappy light on their face, obviously. So, so
you're using, you carry on.
Oh yeah, so basically I just have a little like a small light stand with the Pro Photo A2s, Are you familiar with A2?
No, see, that's one of the things, because I kind of, we'll carry on with that, but a quick reason why I stopped using them was because I was using Godox lights. I still have them, and they're fine for most shit, but they're so fucking unreliable when it comes to like firing. And I'm just like, I can't deal with this shit.
Yeah.
Like, if I've got my trigger on my camera and I press the button, it needs to fucking fire.
100%.
And I just found like it was just frustrating. So I'm just like, fuck it, I'm not going to bother. And like next season, I was going to get some of those Aperture like 120 video lights or whatever and use those for photo. But I noticed that you were using a Pro Photo trigger, and I was like, shit. I mean, because I know they're expensive, but like they're obviously, so you never have. So I'm just writing this down. So you use an A2, and is that like a on-camera light or like
no?
A speed light?
It's looks like a Coke can, like a soft drink can.
Yeah.
I think Godox have a similar like
I use I use AD200, which is like a small.
Yeah, so this is smaller again. So this is and it's 100 watts.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's a strobe, right? Not a constant light.
No, but it does have a very small, like, constant
modeling
light.
lamp.
Yeah. Which is useful if you're shooting in the dark, just help you get focus and things like that, right?
Yeah.
We have used it to actually help light the image once or twice.
Yeah.
But we don't use it so much for that. So yeah, it's a strobe. It is 100 watts. It's very similar to the A1X and A10s. Which are their on-camera ones, but a little bit more powerful. I think the other ones are 67 watts and these are 100. Right. But very easily mount to a stand without any sort of adapters or whatever.
Okay.
So we literally just have an A2 on a stand next to us all the time. And then we have this little portable softbox that just clicks together in takes 1 second.
Yeah, right? Wow.
And so we can create soft light, then we've got these little magnetic gels and a magnetic grid. So I can basically change the color of the light. I can change the spread of the light, whether it's to, really, the honeycomb sort of grid just to get it right in there, or if it's a softbox to make it bigger and softer and nicer. And with those three things, I've got other accessories, but we don't carry those on us all the time, whereas those are always on us.
Yeah. I was pretty much using the Godox with, like I had the V1 and AD200s and using them with like a quarter CTO like most of the time. Yeah. Just slightly orange up the light a little bit, but yeah, they're just the unreliability. Like they're great, but the unreliability of them is just killer. So I might have to look at those. Do you find the Pro Photo ones always fire?
Yes, except sometimes, very occasionally, it slips like out of the hot shoe slightly, like the trigger slips out, and I just have to, like, if it hasn't fired, it's like, because I've knocked it. So I just have to give it a little push in and then off it goes again. And
Sony has that funny hot shoe as well.
The multi-interface. It isn't my favorite thing about Sony's, their interface that they've got with that. But the interface, or I should say that the screen basically on both the trigger and the flash for Pro Photo, like the new Pro Connect trigger, is
Pro Connect.
It is an absolute dream to work with. Like, I will, I'll know that this flash over here, I'll know exactly what power it is. It'll tell me on my screen. Yeah. Where previously, Pro Photo, the thing that frustrated me was that it would all just be in fractions.
Right. Okay.
And I just have to kind of work it out in my head, or it would be like, not in fractions. Sorry, that was Godox. When I had that for a while. So it works in like, you'd have to go like minus 0.1 and you're like,
yeah, right.
But minus 0.1 of what? I don't know what it was set to originally. Yeah. So just like, I kind of just want to go, cool, that's at 3 and that's at 3. Happy days, done.
Yeah.
Which I can do now with the Pro Photo Connect. And same with on the back of the camera, like on the back of the flash, you can literally see it moving exactly the same time as I'm adjusting on the trigger. Yeah. So yeah, and I give my clients a really quick little usually the groove, if there's a groove, I give them a really quick explanation of how to do stuff with it, because sometimes the best place to pop a flash is in the groom's hand.
Yeah, just holding it like behind him or something
just
like
hit
that.
Him. And so I'm like, dude, put this grid and gel in your pocket, because it's rather than me running back and forth or having someone hiding behind there or having a light strong enough to Photoshop out later. Then Let me give you a 3-second tutorial.
Yeah, because I found a lot of reason I don't use flash with some shoots, especially like bridal shoots and stuff like that, is because a lot of the time I don't want it to take away from like the energy that we've built up, and we're like running around and having a good time, and like, you know, then they're getting really romantic, and if I have to like stop and set up something, it just kind of takes them out of that space from, oh, this is a really epic, I'm feeling it here with my new husband or new wife or whatever, and you know, like I just kind of think it detracts from that. So if you can do it like really fast. Yeah,
that's why I always have the trigger on. I want to be ready that it's 2 seconds away.
Yeah, I like that.
And I think the other thing to keep in mind, because this is something that I to and fro a lot, like, you know, go back and forth a lot with myself, where I'm like, do I use flash too much? Like, should I change this up? You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, one of the challenges is because you don't want to lose that sort of atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
But imagine you're in this moment, right? And you get the most bland photo of this moment that feels incredible. It's just the lighting sucks. It's just, there's no magic.
Yeah.
You know, the closest thing to magic was just that it was shot with one open lens. But there's still shadows under your eyes. You can barely see your partner's face, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Versus how magic that moment would feel. I think that sometimes with the lights or whatever we're doing to manipulate the light, you can actually add some of that magic back in that they were feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. And you, like, you know, you're obviously using Sony with them. Are you on A9 still, or?
I've got 2 of the A1s.
Oh, fuck.
It's a bit of a liability.
Yeah, I love those. Scary. They are the ultimate camera, really, for wedding. Well, for anything. If you want to get, like, I mean, I don't really want to get, never really want to get too much into gear, but you know, the A1s are fucking insane. If I could afford it, I'd definitely buy a couple of those.
I found that whenever I haven't gone flagship, I've ended up buying again. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But if I buy flagship, like Sony Alpha 1, I buy it and I'm like, it's going to take a lot to tempt me. So I don't know if it actually ends up costing me more, like a lot more in the long run, yet I get to have all of the features.
Yeah, well, you're never going to have to upgrade for years.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Do you still work with Sony? Is that, you still have a relationship with them?
Yeah.
Like an advocate or ambassador,
watch this space.
Right, okay. Yeah, sweet. Yeah, no, I honestly, I've been tempted to like switch to like Fuji and like just purely out of like boredom. But everything else is just so far behind that I'm finding it's like a struggle, because I really like, you know, I use the Fuji X100V as like my personal camera, and I just love it. I don't use my Sonys for family stuff, like my family and, you know, my life, because I find they're just like tools.
And
they're like really fucking epic tools, but they just don't have that kind of like fun factor to them. And I've been like really wanting to switch something else, but well, not switch, but like get another kit to use or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the A1, I mean, all the Sony cameras are just insane.
Mate, photography, like the cameras that are available to us now, like I was chatting to Bodie, who often helps me out at weddings, and he was like, man, the changes you must have seen in cameras over your career. Like, what's available now is just, it's more than we need. Let's just say that much.
I bought a, just the other day, I bought this D750.
Yeah, cool.
Because that's what I started my business on. And I was like, fucking, I'm going to get one of these and like just have some fun with it, you know?
Mate, that combo, I had that combo once. Well, not that same lens. I don't know what lens that is. But
that's a 24, 1.8.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know you love your 24.
Yeah.
I think I watched a YouTube video of you talking about your 24.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did one. It got a lot of views.
Yeah.
I think just because it's different, it's unique. People don't use 24.
Well, yeah.
For weddings and stuff.
I recently sold my 24 and I'm actually like ready to rebuy it.
Yeah.
I'm regretting it.
Dude, I've still got the same 24. It's so beaten up. Like the same 24 I got it since like 2 days before it was released, because, you know, I was working with Sony and stuff, and I just can't I'm filming with it now. This is a 24. I just can't. It's so magic, man.
Yeah.
So what are you on now? 35?
Yeah, so I've got 14, 35, 50, 135. Yeah. I've got a Series 200 as well, which sometimes makes it in the bag and sometimes doesn't. But then, so I've sort of got a bit of a gap between that 14 and 35, which
you're going to have to get the 24 again.
I'm okay most time because I can just crop in on the 14.
Yeah.
Like I've got the lens button set up just to crop in. It's still not the same.
No, it's different.
I justified that it would be, but...
No, it's different. The 24 1.4 has a specific look that you can't get from anything else, I think. 35 is probably the closest, but it's still, yeah.
And look, so many of, people who I'd consider like really leading photographers in the wedding world, they're shooting 24-50. Like that's their combo. And it's a winning combo. And it's basically like having two lenses where you just double your focal length. Yeah. That's brilliant,
Yeah, 24 is just real dynamic. Just gets you a really interesting view that the other lenses don't get. But you have to be careful when you're using it,
Couple people right on the end.
Yeah. Like center weighted everything. But
well, you default to, I remember also saying, and remember you saying you default to center weighted.
Yeah, I don't know why I made that change. It may have been because I started using 24 because it was a learning curve, but like I just really wanted to do it. And because I was always like, when I started, you're like, rule of thirds. And I'm like, fuck that. I just want to put everything in the middle. And like, I don't know, it's just my style, but whether it's right or wrong, I don't know.
I like things to look tidy. Like I've worked out, so I have ADHD and I get a bit obsessive about some things and whatever. And I think that my desire for things to be organized and tidy ends up meaning that people are often in the middle of my photos.
I feel it. I feel your pain. Yeah, cool. That's enough gear talk, I think.
Totally.
One thing...
In saying that though, I am happy that we got to talk about the pro photo stuff simply because switching to the A2 recently when it came out, look, I heard about the A2 and I was like, yeah, whatever. Like, why would I want that? Like, it's just... Yeah. But then I borrowed it, used it, and it has completely revolutionized the way I use flash at a wedding. And in a way where it's just my footprint when I'm shooting flash now is just so minimal. So I'm glad because I kind of want more people to know about how easy it can be as well.
Yeah, honestly, I know nothing about pro photo other than that they're like a high-end brand and they're really expensive, so most people don't buy them. But, if you're making... You can say stuff, when I go back to you using your A1s and these pro photos and stuff, if you're a full-time wedding photographer and you're making money, like, does it really matter? You know what I mean? Like if you're using something, spending it, like maybe even if it's twice as much money, but you're not going to have to upgrade it and it's making a meaningful impact to your images, I think that's kind of irrelevant, really.
Yeah. And I mean, as I've referenced Bodhi a lot in this conversation, but I have a lot of photography related conversations with him because he's with me at most shoots. But we were talking about how, like, if we were a tradie, the amount of stuff that we would need to invest in, if we were a builder or a carpenter or whatever it was that we were, a plumber, you'd need your special truck and you need endless toolboxes full of things, right?
Yeah,
we really don't need that much as photographers. It's pretty simple. So
if I had 3 lenses and like 2 epic bodies, I'm sweet. Pretty much. I'm just saying like 24-50 all day, except for the ceremony and speeches, I switched to like 35-85. But
anyway, so enough gear talk, right? And then I brought us back off track.
You brought it back up, but I'm actually I'm motivated to try those now, those pro photo lights.
Let me know how you go.
Yeah, I will, man. I'll talk to you more about that afterwards as well. And the next thing I wanted to talk about in terms of like practical stuff, because, I do want to like inspire people and stuff like that. But I noticed after talking to Jonathan Suckling, he had a lot of good things to say about you as well. He was telling me that you were using, what's it called? The one you use?
Dubsado,
yeah. Is that, and you rate that?
Yeah, but I'm not. It's a shame my wife Kath's not here because she's the one who primarily uses it. So
yeah,
she rates it, and that's what was more important. So she trialed a few of them.
Yeah.
And at the time, I don't want to bring down any company that's not them.
No,
because they're all great. But basically, we trialed another one at the same time as we trialed Dubsado, and the other company had an issue because we were kind of happy with both. But the other company had an issue where everyone's inquiries went missing.
That's what I'm talking about.
And
I might blank out the company name just to not be a prick, but yeah.
And I noticed that it was only addressed in comments in someone else's Facebook post in their group.
Yeah, and nothing was being done about it.
And I was just like, and this was when we were trialing, right? And so we had both going, and I went, that's
your business. Like if inquiries aren't coming to you, you don't even have a chance to book them.
Yeah, but quite literally the only way that I could see it was being addressed, there was no emails that going out.
Yeah.
There was no, quick, this is urgent, this is costing us millions of dollars for our customers.
Yeah.
It was just like a response to a photographer's post in a group where it was just like, we're on this, thanks, and that was it.
See what we can do kind of thing.
It's like, holy crap.
Yeah.
And that seemed to be every single person who was using their software.
Yeah. And so you don't have much to do with it. Kat does most of it.
Kath, she is the organized one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm getting a little bit better now because I was fairly recently diagnosed with ADHD. And why I say that is because I struggle with those kind of tasks to do that sort of admin-y kind of stuff. Yeah. So Kath was like, all right, we need a system in place. And she's an occupational therapist. Like that's where she is now. She's working doing that.
Right.
So I always say that I'm sort of the problem maker and she's the problem solver. And so her solution was to use Dubsado and we're happy. But dude, I think they will probably do a very, very similar thing. I think one thing that
just reliability, right?
Yeah, and I think the other thing we noticed, and look, say, like I was saying earlier on in the chat that like it's weird when people say stuff about you. Like if let's just say the company, someone who worked with that company was listening, they might be like, no, that's not us anymore, right? And they might be completely different. But I remember at the time that the other company that we were trialing had like one person who was in charge of kind of everything.
Yeah.
And Dubsado had, umpteen endless people who are in charge of heaps of things. And so I went, well, which one makes more sense?
Yeah.
But that could have completely changed. Could have been reversed, who knows? But at the time when we made the decision, that's how it was.
No, it came up in our group today. This is why I kind of wanted to talk about it as well, because people are still having issues with this other one. And because I don't even use the contact forms. I don't use the questionnaires. I don't use any of it, which kind of makes it irrelevant because it just doesn't work. So I'm looking for
You just need a system. Like whether it's that or just doing the way Johnny does. Like obviously it works for Johnny and he doesn't have to pay anything for it. And I really admire people who don't just buy stuff because it's everyone else does,
Yeah.
Where it's like, why? Like, sure, it's only, whatever it is a month, 30, 40, 50, whatever. I don't know what the different options are. But
yeah.
It's like, why? If you can find a free solution.
Yeah, and it works well. I use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a nerd with like note taking and stuff like that. I kind of love it, but I'm similar to you where I can't concentrate enough to like finish it. So I never find a good process. So I kind of need some help with it. But
you could ask ChatGPT to help you.
Yeah.
I actually did the other day. I jumped on ChatGPT and I was like, just out of interest, I just wrote, can you help me put together a good workflow for my photos?
Yeah.
Just to see what it would say. Just because I think one thing that I'm missing at the moment, like, we're pretty organized when it comes to the client stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't have anywhere written down exactly what my processes are after a wedding for the things that I do that aren't client facing, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I need to get that stuff written down just so if anyone else ever has to do it for me or, just to make sure that there's never any mess ups, right?
Yeah.
Do you have that kind of stuff written down?
No, but
do you think we need to, or am I just
do,
overthinking
man. No, I do. I've literally been planning a YouTube video about this as well. It's crazy all the stuff we're talking about. Because I'm the same. Like I don't. We're going to get onto this subject in a really hot second, but yeah, I don't plan. Like I don't. I just do it. You know what I mean? Like I shoot the wedding, and I'm like you. I'm really organized. I'm pretty organized, but only because I'm in touch with my couples a lot. You know, like we have like quite often my couples will have like a group chat with me and the two people, and I just kind of work with them like that, like one-on-one. I know a lot of people don't have time to do that, but that's what I do anyway. So I know exactly what's going to happen leading up to the day, but like afterwards, I'm just like, I input my photos the same way, I edit them the same, and you know, I get it done, but it's not really organized very well. And I think my life would be better if I did.
Well, there's just then less decisions to make, right? Like you're just like, cool, I'm at step 3.
Yeah, man. And there's a reason why these processes exist and why like really well-doing companies use stuff like this.
Yeah. Hey, I've been listening to an audiobook called, let me just find out what it's called. It's by Donald Miller.
Donald Miller?
Yeah, and it's just called How to Grow Your Small Business.
How to grow.
Yep. And it's a
Noted.
6-step plan to help your business take off. And while I have an established business, I'm listening to that going, oh man, like there is thousands of things that I could do.
Yeah.
But basically this whole idea of professionalizing what we do.
Yeah.
Rather than just sort of being like, oh, I'm just to do with the camera and whatever. It's like, if you could actually professionalize all these different aspects, you could potentially grow this like 1,000 times over.
Yeah. Big.
But it's almost like we just don't think enough of ourselves sometimes to do
I think
those things.
like for a lot of people, it starts as a hobby.
Yeah.
And it just kind of grows into a business. And the business side of it gets left behind because you were like a hobbyist that loves taking photos and now you're getting paid for it, but you've forgotten all the other shit. And like, yeah, I don't, for me, it's about life balance and, you know, the less time I have to do, the less time I have to spend on shit because I'm just winging it. You know, if I have a process like what we're talking about, it's going to take a lot of that time out and I could be like riding my fucking motorbike or hanging out with my kids or, you know, like doing something that it's just going to take up a lot less time because I have processes.
And headspace, because you're not going, hang on. Like one of the challenges I have is that I'm like right now, I need to do some sort of maths to go, hang on, when's a client's wedding due?
Yeah.
I've got it ready, but when have I got to actually deliver it?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to deliver it too soon, but it's up here.
Yeah.
It's not in my calendar. It's not somewhere to remind me that, hey, it's due today.
Yeah.
Or due tomorrow, you know, whatever it is that, and it's like, if I can get all of those kind of things out of my head and just the processes just, you know, help me make it happen, then it frees up space to concentrate on things that will actually have some value.
Have you heard of an app called Notion?
I haven't. Tell me about it.
Oh, it's so good, man. I've just found it, like, because I all my YouTube videos, I've done like 300 videos on YouTube, and I would say 3 of them have been planned. You know, like I just get an idea, and then so I'll wake up in the morning, I'll have my coffee, I'll get an idea, and then by that night it's on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like my videos could be way better if I actually like plan them and like plan B roll out and like put more thought into it. Whereas because I'm kind of like you, I'm not diagnosed with ADHD, but I've actually been talking to doctors last year about it. And because I have problems concentrating, like I struggle to read books. I just can't like sit and be like, so I'm like practicing that. And I've been using this app Notion to like plan out all my videos and stuff. And I'm going to try and use that to plan out my post-production timeline and stuff. I'll send it to you. You'll probably love it.
Please.
I'll put all this stuff in the description as well. But
yeah. Hey, look, I'm realizing whenever I put out there about ADHD, especially in the photography world or small business world, I'm pretty sure that most of us have it.
It's a really common mental illness, like, you know, whatever. But I think people are afraid of talking about it, and it's just dangerous. Like, you just need to talk about it and like fucking just be normal. Like,
I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it,
man. Half the reason I've done all this shit I've done is because I think I have it and I just can't sit still. You know what I mean? But it's like harnessing it and learning how to deal with it. I think is the big thing.
Yep. I think that it's like I've heard other people talk about this, and I completely agree that it's basically it's a superpower.
100%.
That sometimes it can also work against you.
Yeah.
But I think that if you know how to harness sort of, I guess your harnessed brain when I'm on the medication for it.
Yeah.
That helps me get certain kind of tasks done. And then the way my brain works when I'm not on it. For example, my ideas brain when I'm not medicated is way more interesting, and I come up with better ideas, and it's actually a great headspace for me to be in if I'm like editing photos for fun, for example, or trying to come up with concepts and ideas for something.
Right.
Whereas like today, for example, because there's just work that needs to be done and I need to focus on it. Like I have 3 weddings to sort through and edit, and also chatting to you and a bunch of emails to do. I'm medicated because that's what I need to be able to do this side of things. So it's like I can access both. But apparently a lot of small business owners and we'll just leave it at small business owners will likely have those kind of traits, potentially ADHD or somewhere in that spectrum, right? Because we don't want to work for someone else. We don't want that structure, someone else's structure telling us what to do.
Yeah, no, and there's just so much going on and so many ideas and like things that motivate you when you have something like that going on.
Yep.
Yeah, I get into the space where like I have just so much shit in my brain that I can't concentrate on anything. But if I can like find a process to like lay it out, or like you said, medication or whatever, to like chill it, then I can kind of arrange things and just do them, and it's sweet.
Hey, and I wonder, like you mentioned earlier about not following running photos under the time or whatever. Yeah. I think that one thing I found with ADHD is that I do compare myself to others a lot by default, and I do get stuck in my brain, and my brain can be really brutal when it's thinking about me. You know what I mean? I'm the worst person in the world. Everyone hates me. I suck. Yeah. And seeing other people and their successes just makes me feel worse. Yeah. And I found that if the ADHD is managed, I'm stoked if other people are doing great. Do you know what I mean? Like, or like whatever it is. I don't get stuck in my brain comparing in the same way. Yeah. I'm just like, sweet, so we're both good. Awesome. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I feel you there. Yeah. I think it's a skill to practice as well, honestly. Like I've had to like practice, because I'm the same, probably the same as you. I'm my worst enemy. Like everything I do is shit. You know, like I definitely have an ego, and I know I'm a good photographer, but like at the same time I'm ruthless with myself. Yeah.
You know, I've come to this weird place I've never been at before, where I don't care if I'm a good photographer. I don't care what other people think.
Yeah. Like that's what I mean. That's a practice thing, I think.
If I'm being honest, for me, it's what the medication's done. Yeah, like, right. I know this, it sounds really weird. I feel like I'm like some drug pushing dude. It's just like,
no, but that's the idea behind controlling it.
There was a solution to this problem I had for so long, where it was just like I needed to prove myself, and I needed to have really set ideas on how things should work, so then people would follow me and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, do you know what? In actuality, that's not what life is like. It's just not black and white. Yeah. You know, and previously just I felt like everything had to be black and white. Whereas now I'm just like, there's just flexibility within this, and I don't need to like think on everything all the time.
Yeah, 100% agree, man.
Right.
It's good talking about this kind of stuff. I think a lot of people avoid it, but it's good to get it out there, you know.
Well, I've enjoyed like some of the photographers I know who've talked about their ADHD struggles. I think it was Jai Long who had a conversation with a few different people on his podcast. Okay. People who had ADHD, and I was just like, man, like this is great when people can just open up and not try and be this perfect Instagram self, you know? It's just like, cool, I'm a flawed human. And there's obviously, you know, places to have, you know, to share that more perfect view of your world. But then there's also places where it's just like, well, let's just be real. Like this isn't, you know, that's only a small part of my life that looks perfect for a split second.
Yeah.
You know? Anyway.
Yeah, man. No, I agree. But with your, you were talking about your workflow and stuff. I asked a few people in our groups and like on socials and stuff about what they would want to know.
Yes.
And one of our friends, Tashina, I think you met her at Down to Photo as well.
Yeah,
she said that you mentioned at Down to Photo that you were using Freedom.
Yeah.
Is that Freedom Edits?
Yeah, I was using Freedom.
Are you still doing that?
I recently realized that the outsourcing of my photos wasn't my greatest challenge in my business, so I decided to bring that back on board.
Yeah, nice.
But when I say recently, I mean I made that decision about a month ago.
Yeah, okay.
So that's a new thing. I think outsourcing, the whole idea of outsourcing is brilliant because it gives you a structure if you don't have one.
Yeah,
okay?
I've never tried it.
Whether it's that you're outsourcing your photo editing or your blogging or your social media, making reels, whatever, your accounting, your whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
It just gives you structure so that because the person you're outsourcing to is going to give you a structure. So that's probably what I enjoyed most. But then I realized that there was other opportunity, other ways, and I'm skirting around it a bit. But basically, AI for editing these days just can't be ignored.
You're using AI now?
100% I am. Like,
which one?
I'm currently mostly using Aftershoot.
Okay. That's just for culling, eh?
No, it's both. It's color and edit. So I think it's not perfect. It needs a lot of babying still. Like, you can't just rely on it to give you a great result. Yeah. However, I reckon it's probably 50% quicker. And what my thinking was is this good? Is this ready now? Well, it's really close.
Yeah.
But am I going to wait till it's perfect to jump on it?
Yeah.
I want to get fluent in that now.
Because it's a learning curve like anything else. Just because it's AI doesn't mean you don't need to learn how to use it, right?
And once again, you still need your systems in place. And I jumped in too quick. So I started having a quick play late last year with AI. And I just ended up with so many errors I need to go back and fix. And I didn't have systems in place because I was so used to Freedom just nailing it every time.
Yeah.
But then when I started using AI, it just sort of, there's errors that I didn't account for. And so then I think I had 2 clients who came back to me and like, hey, why is there these blinking photos still here? And I'm like, damn it. Just the processes just fell to bits because I'd changed stuff around.
Yeah, I've tried AI just very quickly, but I find I'm really fast at editing photos because I'm using like Loop Deck and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm definitely going to give it another go and just kind of see how I like it, I guess. Yeah. Another question we had was, we've got 2. Jonathan, who is not Johnny, different one.
Okay.
Was asking about exposure and white balance in camera. I mean, these were questions to me, but I'm kind of putting them to both of us. And
sure.
Exposure, like just trying to get it right in camera, I guess. But I mean, exposure, I'm always trying to get right. It's just part of the job, but I feel like that's a little bit obvious unless I'm getting something wrong with the question. But white balance, do you use auto white balance or do you setting it in camera?
Auto. I don't want to have to think about that when I'm shooting. Yeah. But I think the exposure thing is interesting. Once again, Bodhi and I are having a conversation about this the other day, and it's just like, what is correct exposure? Yeah. Right? Because you sort of sometimes need to know what your finished product will look like. Do you know what I mean? Because there's not definitely just one perfect exposure. There might be an ideal exposure for your vision for your finished product. But if you don't know what that vision is, you might not know what your ideal exposure is.
Yeah.
Right? So obviously the majority of the time it's pretty straightforward, but once when you're looking at pushing your edits a bit further or you're working with lights or whatever, then that's when things get a bit murky.
Yeah.
As to exactly, what you wanted, what I guess a correct exposure would be. And just the thing I think about when I'm exposing is what is my critical highlight.
That's what I was going to say. Really, the only thing I'm worried about with exposing, like when I'm exposing an image, it's just highlights. As long as my highlights aren't peaked, I don't care otherwise.
See, I'm okay with highlights peaking. So I guess that's why I've mentioned critical highlights because there might be highlights in the image that are just not important. Right. Do you know what I mean? There might be like a shiny window in the background or something, and it's just like, cool, I'm good with that. But the actual highlights, so the highlights might be officially peaking in the, when you look at the histogram.
Yeah.
But
like highlights on faces and stuff like
exactly,
that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's what I mean.
And sometimes, and I don't know the skill level or the whatever of this guy who's asked this question, I don't know and who it is. Yeah. But a really helpful thing that someone once said to me was just make it look like it does in front of you. Like literally just be like, look at the camera, look at the thing, and then like, it looks the same. Cool, good enough.
Yeah, and I think getting to know your camera, like learning how your camera behaves and like how much you can pull back and how much you can't, and that just comes with like trial and like just testing shit out. But like, when you learn how your camera is going to behave in certain situations, so you know where you need to be, because a lot of times you think it's overexposed, but it's not. And same with the other way. Yeah,
you need so much latitude you've got with your file.
Yeah, and also I'm the same with white balance. I just use auto because I don't care, because it's irrelevant. Unless it's like really distracting in the viewfinder. Like sometimes with the Sony cameras, I don't know about you, but mine, it goes really cool. And like sometimes I'll just set it to like cloudy or some shit just so it looks pretty in the viewfinder.
So you feel good, little ego boost.
So I feel good. Yeah, exactly. But otherwise I don't care. Yeah.
What was the other thing I was going to say is with exposure. Oh, with your cameras, because you mentioned knowing your gear. The other thing that's worth sometimes mentioning is some cameras have like dual gain ISO or something, where like at certain points, so
it like goes clean again.
So there's one, like even the A1 has one that they don't publicize, right? As far as I'm aware. Yeah. I knew you were going to ask me that.
Research, James.
I know. And I was like, oh crap, what is it again? What is it? But there's a point where it like gets clean again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I find I'm typically not pushing my ISO heaps, because if I'm pushing my ISO too far, I probably should have just added lights. Because I'm only added flash in.
Yeah, you use I'm going way off topic now, but going back, it's not really because exposure, but I noticed a couple of shots. You must be using like that mist in a can stuff.
No, I've got a smoke machine called a Smoke Genie.
Fuck, I'm like writing down so many notes. Smoke Genie, because I started using that. I was basically a full-time photographer anyway, but I was still doing like a day a week in a camera shop. And that atmosphere in a can stuff came out, and I was like, this is sick, and I was using that. But it's not that great. I find like it just kind of, I don't know, disappears really fast.
Sorry for the crinkling sounds, but I was open something here.
Yeah.
I don't actually have the smoke can handy. But what I do have comes with this, like, basically I buy this little thing of cloud formula. Right. This will last me a year, right?
Really?
So rather than needing to buy new cans in all the time and paying the shipping and, all of that, and always having to have it in stock almost.
Yeah.
That I just have this one device, and then this, it's like a vegetable glycerin and something else.
It's kind of like a vape that you don't have to breathe in.
Yeah, it's vegetable glycerin and propylene glycol, and it's like that'll last a year.
Yeah.
So I just need that, and that's my spare bottle, because I've had the other one for at least 6 months. It's still half full.
Yeah,
so,
right.
And that's all I have to have on me. So that, and also traveling with the aerosols and stuff can be a challenge.
Yeah, and they're big cans. They're a pain in the ass. And I find that because I looked at a couple of shots. I was going to chuck them up on the screen. You had one that was like obviously in the back of a car or something.
Yep.
That was sick, bro. You definitely have a really cinematic eye. Like, I don't know if that's how I would put it. I don't know how anybody else would describe it, but it's like a really cinematic eye, and you love color, which I really appreciate, I think. Do you think that's accurate?
Yeah, I think there's a few things at play. I think I've worked out the kind of stuff that I think the people who want to hire me would want. I think we're drawn to really warm tones. So I obviously work with like I've almost always got a CTO on my light, because I'm wanting to sort of warm things up a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And give that sort of look. It doesn't always work like that. Sometimes you need to cool things down so you can purposely warm things up in post. But anyway, but yeah, and I feel like having that bit of magic and epicness that is missing a lot of the time for photography these days. It's not a go of photographers, it's a go the fact that once upon a time, photography had this magic. Do you know what I mean? That it was, people didn't have easy access to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so now it's like people, if I just take a photo on my camera and a guest takes, and no lights, no nothing, no smoke, no fanciness, and a guest comes on with their brand new iPhone and takes a photo, guess whose photo is going to look better?
Yeah.
The iPhone. Every time.
Why?
Because it's doing all of this like inbuilt processing and stuff straight out, right? So then it's like, okay, well then how do I compete?
Yeah.
They're not setting up lights. They're not doing all these fancy cool things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
you've got to add something to it.
So whereas, once upon a time, people go into a dark room, this photo would magically appear. Yeah. And so I mean, yes, I think I like that sort of cinematic sort of look, but I think it's just come about from just going, well, what's the point in just creating something that looks just kind of like your friend would take on their iPhone?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, nice, man. Fuck, I had a really good question, but I've just lost it. Oh, man, I'm so glad we did this, though. This has been pretty epic.
Can I say I'm really glad that you didn't ask me to drink a beer? I hate beer so much. I was like, if you ask me to do that, I'm going to like vomit.
You don't drink at all?
I do drink occasionally, but it's not. Yeah. Beer is just never really. I think there was about 2 weeks when I first turned 18 where I convinced myself that I could drink beer all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, beer does make me feel a bit sick sometimes. I drink whiskey, but I'm not a big drinker either.
What's that sound? Is that coming from you?
Nah.
Hang on.
Sounds like I missed a whippy or something.
I think literally there's an ice cream truck, so I'll be back. No, I was kidding. Yeah, there's literally an ice cream truck driving past the house.
Yeah. A couple of other quick questions, because I forgot what I wanted to know. Scene wanted to, I think maybe Sean.
Probably Sean.
Are there any other genres of photography? This, again, is directed at me, but, I'm
then you
just putting
it
to us. He was just saying, any other genres of photography that you're interested in exploring more? My answer would be not with, I guess with photography, but I'm really interested in exploring like documentary films. But what about you? Are you interested in any other genres or just like weddings? Yeah.
It's not even, because I don't know. How do I look at, there's so many brilliant photographers who, like look at like Ollie Sansom or, like people who just sort of shoot anything and make it theirs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You can always tell it's their work because it's just amazing. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not built like that. Like I don't desire to go out and photograph other stuff very often. That there is definitely occasions where I feel inspired, but it's usually based on someone's story.
Yeah, that's why I like documentary. The idea of documentaries,
but that would be more about just because I'd be interested in spending time with the person rather than the photography as such.
Yeah, that makes sense coming from you. Definitely, you're a real storyteller. I think that's why I'm interested in short film. Like, I don't know if you call them documentaries, but like I've always wanted to do like 10, 15 minute long, 20 minute long films on like really interesting people in their spaces, like artists and like musicians and stuff like that. I don't know, because I find like people interesting, and I just feel like it'd be cool to document that in like an artistic way, I guess. But I tried, because I used to do a lot of landscape photography and stuff before I was like full-time wedding photographer, and I've tried it again and I'm just shit at it. So I'm just like, I don't know. And also I'm just not really interested unless there's like people in it nowadays. I don't know why, but people just add the thing for me.
Or add that variability.
Yeah.
So you're just not quite sure what'll happen there.
Yeah. And the final question before we wrap everything up was Justin Aitken wants to know what was the thing that Meatloaf wouldn't do for love? And we both decided that if anyone knows the answer to this, you should probably know the answer to this. But you probably don't. I was like, typical fucking Justin.
Yeah, just something random that has nothing to do with anything that we're discussing.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
Amazing. This is why he has the kind of work he does, which is just super interesting because that's how his brain works.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you should listen to the one that we made. That was a pretty good podcast. Me and him did one together. But, yeah, man. Anyway, shit, it's been like an hour and a half and it's been very easy. I'm really glad we did this, man.
We're both good at talking crap.
Yeah. No, that's cool, man. I really appreciate you coming on, and I think people are really going to like this one. So, yeah, I just want to say a big thanks to you. You've always inspired me, and it's just good having you here. And
that's why you followed my Instagram 3 days ago. Was it even, maybe even less?
I think it was like 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Yeah. I searched you up and I was like, fuck, why am I following? And I thought you were following me. I was like, I must have like gone through one of those culling things, I think. Been like, fuck this guy, he's too good.
I just want to thank you for all the support you give me over the last few years. I just wanted to give back today by jumping on this chat with you.
No,
it's finally a chance to, I was just overwhelmed with the love.
Yeah. I do try my hardest, Awesome, bro.
Thanks for that.
I'm going to cut this and we'll talk again soon, eh?
Sounds awesome.
So thanks, James, again for coming on, and thanks all you guys for listening in. If you've gotten all the way to the end of this podcast, make sure you subscribe if you're on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcast, or whatever you guys are on. I already have like 3 or 4 podcast sessions ready to be released. And I decided I'm going to release them every Tuesday night, New Zealand time, so you guys have something to look forward to and you know when they're going to come out. So thanks again for listening, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.